You ever plant a small tree because the tag promised it would stay tiny and manageable, only to watch it grow faster than your neighbor's hedge, stretching skyward like it's auditioning for a spot in the clouds? Yeah, I've been there, and I know that frustration all too well. There's nothing worse than thinking you're getting a cute little addition to your yard and then realizing it's secretly a green monster in disguise. That's why today I'm doing you a solid. I've curated 7 trees that actually behave. Trees that give you shade without taking over your life. Trees that are perfect for small yards, patios, balconies, or any urban space where space is a luxury. And let me tell you, the last one on this list, I'm honestly shocked more people don't plant it. It's one of those, why has nobody told me about this kind of trees? Before we get into the specifics, let me say welcome back to Urban Eden Garden, where we turn small spaces into green paradises without breaking the bank. If you're new here, you're in the right place. And even if you've been around a while, stick with me because some of the trees I'm showing today aren't the ones you've heard 1,000 times on every gardening channel. These are carefully chosen, small space friendly shade heroes. Oh, and before I forget, comment below where you're watching from. I love seeing how many micro gardeners we have around the world. It never fails to amaze me. Let's dive in. The first tree on this list is what I like to call the chill shade maker. This is a tree that does exactly what its name suggests. It's calm, compact, and it gives you that umbrella-like shade that makes you want to grab a chair and just sit for hours. The best part is, it behaves. It doesn't push into your walkway or demand a weekend of trimming every month. It's the kind of tree that's friendly to small spaces, easy to maintain, and surprisingly cost-effective. Gardeners love it because it transforms a corner of a yard from hot and uninviting into a cool, relaxing retreat. Imagine a small patio with a table and a couple of chairs, the sun blaring in the afternoon, and then this tree grows to provide just enough shade so you can enjoy that space without feeling like you're in an oven. That's the chill shade maker. It's humble, dependable, and when people see it, they often say, wow, why didn't I plant this sooner? Next up is the low drama beauty. This one is perfect for anyone who wants the aesthetic appeal of a mature tree without the potential headaches. Its structure is tidy, its growth is manageable, and it won't lift your walkways, block windows, or sneak its roots into spaces they shouldn't. I like to describe it as a plant it and forget it type of tree. It's forgiving, doesn't demand constant attention, and it's fantastic for renters or beginner gardeners who are still learning the ropes. The low drama beauty gives you all the perks of a tree, the shade, the cool microclimate, the visual interest, without the stress of dealing with overgrown limbs or invasive roots. In my experience, these trees are the ones that turn small gardens into welcoming spaces that people actually want to spend time in. Now, if you're dealing with a tiny yard or a balcony, the Patio Guardian is a lifesaver. This is a container-friendly tree that can thrive in a pot, yet still provides surprising amounts of shade. I've had it on my balcony, on a small deck, and even in urban courtyards, and the effect is always amazing. It's versatile, movable, and you don't need a huge ground space to enjoy its benefits. Here's a quick insider tip. When you place a container tree like this, make sure you use a high-quality potting mix and a container with proper drainage. It may sound basic, but poor soil or trapped water is the fastest way to turn a patio champion into a struggling plant. The Patio Guardian gives you flexibility, immediate shade in key spots, and it grows beautifully over time without becoming a maintenance nightmare. The fourth tree is what I like to call the sun softener. Unlike some trees that cast dark, oppressive shade, this one provides a dappled light effect. It softens sunlight rather than blocking it completely, creating a lovely, airy environment beneath its canopy. If you want shade for a seating area but still want your space to feel light and inviting, the sun softener is perfect. It pairs wonderfully with outdoor seating, small garden beds, or ground covers that enjoy partial shade. Imagine a small garden corner where sunlight flickers through leaves, creating a pattern on the patio floor. It's a simple way to make even a tiny space feel like a cozy retreat. Its beauty lies not just in shade, but in the subtle ambiance it brings to your garden. Then there's the fast but polite grower. This is a tree that grows quickly to give you shade fast, but unlike aggressive growers, it stops at a manageable size. I cannot stress enough how many people fall into the trap of planting fast-growing trees only to regret it when limbs start threatening their roof, driveway, or garden beds. This tree is different. It gives you speed without the chaos. You get usable shade sooner rather than later, but you don't have to worry about drastic pruning or constant maintenance. It's ideal for small properties where you want results quickly, but don't want drama in a few years. I've planted several of these in small urban yards, and every single time, homeowners have been thrilled at how quickly it turned a hot, exposed corner into a shaded oasis. The sixth tree on my list is the "why didn't I plant this earlier" tree. I call it that because gardeners, myself included, often overlook it. It's compact, gives excellent shade, and thrives without any special treatment. It's incredibly forgiving and doesn't mind if you occasionally forget to water it or if your soil isn't perfect. I first discovered this tree when I was testing different options for small urban plots, and it immediately impressed me. It's reliable, visually appealing, and incredibly functional. If you've grown this tree before, I want to hear about it in the comments. Share your experience. I promise others will find it helpful and inspiring. This tree proves that sometimes the best solutions are the ones hiding in plain sight. Finally, we have the hidden gem. This tree is the ultimate surprise. Most people overlook it because it doesn't have flashy flowers or a well-known reputation, but it performs beautifully in small gardens, providing dense, generous shade without demanding attention. It's compact, rounded, and incredibly versatile, fitting into almost any style of garden. I love this one because it feels like a secret weapon. Plant it, and suddenly your small space transforms into a serene retreat. Here's a unique tip. Place it strategically near areas where you want the most shade or where afternoon sun hits hardest. Its canopy spreads efficiently, offering the maximum cooling effect with minimal space. Honestly, it's one of those trees that once you see it, you wonder why more gardeners aren't using it. Now, let's step back for a moment and talk about a simple rule of thumb for choosing shade trees in small yards. Forget obsessing over height alone. What matters most is canopy spread. A shorter tree with a wide, dense canopy can provide more usable shade than a taller, sparsely leaved tree. Think about the footprint you want to shade, not just how tall your tree will be in 10 years. If you combine this with careful placement and proper soil preparation, you can maximize shade and comfort without overwhelming your space. Speaking of soil, here's another tip most people miss. When planting, dig a hole slightly wider than the root ball. This encourages roots to spread outward rather than circling. Mix in a bit of compost, but don't overdo it. Water thoroughly after planting and keep a layer of mulch around the base. 2 to 3 inches is ideal. This keeps moisture steady and reduces stress on young roots. Avoid piling mulch against the trunk, or you'll risk rot. These small details make a huge difference in how healthy and manageable your shade tree becomes. Watering young trees is also critical. Overwatering or underwatering are both common mistakes. For most small trees, a deep watering once or twice a week is better than frequent shallow sprinkles. Deep water encourages roots to grow downwards, establishing a stronger foundation. If your soil drains well, check moisture at an inch or two below the surface. Slightly moist is perfect. Bone dry or soggy is bad news. Pay attention early, and your tree will reward you with robust growth and a long lifespan.
Once your small tree is in the ground and happy, it's time to think about how it interacts with the rest of your yard. One of the most overlooked parts of small space gardening is spatial awareness. Even if you plant the perfect shade tree, if you place it too close to a wall, a pathway, or a patio edge, it won't create the cozy, usable shade you're aiming for. I like to tell people to imagine the canopy as a living umbrella. Where will it spread over 5 years? Where will the sun travel throughout the day and season? This simple mental exercise helps you pick the right spot so that when the tree matures, your seating area, garden beds, or play spaces are shaded exactly how you envisioned. A tree planted haphazardly can end up casting shade where you don't want it, or leaving your favorite sitting spot roasted in the afternoon sun. Now let's talk pruning, because this is where many gardeners either overthink or completely ignore it. Small trees need light shaping in the first few years to ensure they grow in a tidy, manageable way. You don't need to be aggressive. Think gentle nudges rather than radical cuts. Remove any crossing branches and encourage 1 or 2 main scaffold branches to maintain structure. Doing this early makes a huge difference. It's like shaping a young bonsai versus letting it grow wild. You want a tree that gives you shade without creating awkward limbs that jut into walkways or patios. And always use clean, sharp tools. A smooth cut heals faster and reduces the risk of pests or disease. This small care in the early years pays dividends for decades. Now, while we're on the subject of maintenance, let's be realistic about expectations. I promise you, a small tree is not zero maintenance, it's just manageable maintenance. Expect a yearly check-in where you remove dead or broken wood, look for early signs of disease, and make minor adjustments. The goal is not to create extra work for yourself, but to prevent small issues from becoming big problems. A little attention now saves a lot of stress later, and it keeps your shade tree looking neat and healthy without consuming your weekends. Another thing I want to highlight is the importance of considering neighbors. Shade is a blessing, but your tree can affect nearby spaces. Planting near a boundary, let your neighbor know your plans. Small, well-behaved trees rarely cause disputes, but communication goes a long way toward good relationships. I've had neighbors comment on my trees, ask questions, and even help water them while I was away. Small trees can foster community as much as they foster shade, and it's a nice bonus in dense urban areas. Let's pivot to another secret weapon in small space gardening: container trees. If you rent or cannot plant in the ground, a container tree is a fantastic option. Use a high-quality potting mix and ensure good drainage. Container roots dry out faster than ground-planted roots, so monitor moisture carefully. Overwatering is the fastest way to kill a container tree, so let the top inch of soil dry slightly before watering again. And here's the cool part: you can move it around. Want to rotate your shade spot depending on the sun's path? Done. Want to take your tree with you when you move apartments? Easy. Container trees offer flexibility urban gardeners dream about, and pairing them with a small bench or bistro table instantly transforms your balcony or patio. Now, I want to revisit a point that surprises many small space gardeners. Some trees can double as functional art. I'm talking about small trees with architectural form or sculptural shapes. Even if you don't care about flowers, a tree with a clean, rounded canopy can act as a visual anchor in a tight space. It creates balance, guides the eye, and gives a sense of enclosure. Your yard will feel thoughtfully designed without the need for expensive hardscaping. This is the kind of trick experienced gardeners use: plants as both shade and visual structure. And in small yards, that double role is priceless. Let's also not ignore the practical angle. Some small trees can give you seasonal benefits beyond shade. Certain compact fruit trees, when pruned properly, stay small but produce edible crops. If you're looking for dual-purpose trees, shade plus something you can eat, look into varieties bred for container life or dwarf cultivars. I've planted a few of myself in narrow spaces and they work surprisingly well. Just be honest with yourself about the cleanup. Fruit drops can attract pests or create a sticky mess. If you can handle that, you get shade and a snack. That's a win-win. Now, one of my favorite things about small trees is how they interact with other plants. Underneath a small canopy, you can grow shade-tolerant ground covers, low shrubs, or even a few potted flowers. It turns a simple tree into a layered, multi-dimensional garden feature. This is especially useful in tight urban spaces where every square foot counts. Planting companion plants beneath your tree not only makes your garden look lush, but also improves soil health and can even help retain moisture for your tree roots. I always encourage micro gardeners to think vertically and horizontally at the same time. The tree provides height and shade, and smaller plants below add color, texture, and function. Another tip I wish someone had told me early on is keep the long-term shape of the tree in mind when planting. You're not just planting a young sapling, you're envisioning a tree that will be part of your space for years. Consider how wide it will get and whether that matches your goals. Will it shade the right spot without crowding your deck? Will it provide enough light for other plants under it? Visualizing 5 or 10 years ahead keeps you from making planting mistakes that are hard to fix later. A little foresight goes a long way, especially in small spaces. Let's talk about fertilization briefly. Many gardeners think small trees need constant feeding, but in most cases, less is more. Start with a slow release or organic fertilizer in the first year or two to help the tree establish. Overfeeding encourages weak, rapid growth that can make your tree top-heavy or prone to breakage. The goal is strong roots first, healthy canopy second. And don't forget water. It's far more critical in early years than fertilization. Now, one of my favorite parts of small space gardening is the joy of experimentation. Try planting one tree first, see how it grows, then add another if needed. You can adjust placement, tweak watering, and see how the light and shade change over time. Gardening is iterative. It rewards observation and small experiments more than perfect guesses. Small trees give you the freedom to experiment without committing your entire yard to a giant canopy. Let's wrap this up with a bonus tip for choosing the perfect shade tree. When in doubt, measure the space you want shaded and compare it to the mature canopy spread, not the height. This simple check prevents disappointment and ensures your tree will deliver usable shade exactly where you need it. For example, if your favorite patio table is in full sun and the tree's mature canopy spreads 12 feet across, Plant it so that the edge of that canopy covers the table in a few years. This method works for patios, garden corners, narrow strips, or balconies. Finally, I want to engage with you directly. Out of all the trees I've mentioned today, which one surprised you the most? Which one would you plant first, and where in your yard would you place it? Drop a comment below. I read every comment I can and love hearing how people are applying these ideas to their own spaces. And if you learned something new today, or if this video just gave you confidence to pick a small shade tree, hit the like button to help others find it too. If you haven't already, subscribe to Urban Eden Garden. We post content that helps you make the most of your small garden spaces without spending a fortune or getting overwhelmed. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, small trees aren't just objects you plant, they're tools for comfort, beauty, and smart use of space. With a little planning, the right choice, and some attention in the first few years, your yard can feel like a private oasis, no matter how small it is. Shade is more than relief from the sun. It's the difference between a garden you walk past and a garden you sit in, relax in, and enjoy. Happy planting, and I'll see you in the next video. May your shade be cool, your trees be well behaved, and your garden always feel like home.